So installation is done. So after installation, it's time for us to run through user interface of Postman. So here we will be looking into the user interface of Postman. We will be navigating in and around and across the Postman. So why we need to learn and understand the UI of Postman, because Postman is an ocean. It's an ocean of features when you're dealing with the API. So it's a Postman is a power storage where you'll get almost all the features. With that features you can do most of the activities that you can do on API. So even when I was started working on API a few years back, so initially I used to be confused, I used to be lost when I enter into the Postman, other than that only workspace tab, because there are huge number of tabs are there. So that's the reason I just want to give a clear picture of what a Postman consists of, what all tools are there, what all tabs are there, and what all we can use, where it is, and overall UI I'm going to explain you, I'm going to show it to you, I will tell you the purpose of each item in that UI. Then we will jump into then we'll swing into the action. So after the installation, so we have to open Postman. So I will type in search button, search bar saying Postman. You see that, and I'll open it, run as administrator. Yeah. So it got directly took me to some workspace, my workspace. I will begin with I'll keep this as a home page. Okay. So now this is how it has opened. So Postman has a variety of tools, views, and controls to help you manage your API projects. So this tutorial is a high level overview of Postman's primary interface areas, UI, user interface areas. So this is the header. This is the header of the our Postman UI, or you can call it as a main menu bar. Header or main menu bar. And after that, when you enter, this is a home tab, this is home tab or home page. When you get into the workspaces page, that's the second item of second menu item of our second tab of our header menu. So here you will have this sidebar and then workbench. So most this when we uh, when we uh, when we jump into the workspaces, that time we're going to see that. And after that you have API network item, then explore. Okay. So in addition to that, we will look into the more when we enter into the workspace. Anyway, workspace is the more important item of this header. That's what we widely use. The rest all we don't use much. Home and just settings and these things we don't use much, even explore. Okay. So first anyway, we will begin with the header. Okay, we'll begin with this part, the header of our UI. Here you should see a burger menu icon. Burger menu icon here. We'll begin with the burger menu icon. So file, here you can create your new file. You can open a new tab and you can run a new tab and a new Postman window. You can import the things, and here is the settings you can find out. And edit option, undo, redo, and view. This is very important. Toggle full screen just to switch over the views. So toggling from one view to other view. So for this, and toggle two pane view, and toggle sidebar, reset zoom, zoom in, zoom out. So these features we'll use widely for your comfort and convenience. For that we are going to use this. And here, help. So this is help, check for updates, and if you want to go for the documentation, so you can go through it. That's what our burger menu consists of. Burger menu icon consists of. Then we have home. So this, before we go to home, so one more point I would like to highlight here is the header. This header enables you to create workspaces, access reports, and explore. You see that item, explore public API network. So search in and you have a Postman search bar. So, and we have view sync status. Here is that. And notifications, here is that notification. And access your settings, this is what the settings. And sync status, manage accounts, and Postman plan. Okay, that's what the header consists of. Burger menu, we have gone through it. Home workspaces is widely used, and home, anyway, it's a default screen that you're seeing now. And workspaces, we will look into that later. And here you will have all API networks if you have connected with any private public partner, everything. Then we have explore, and after that search button, then settings, account and notification and account information, and upgrade. It's all about your plans if you want to have a proper plan. Okay, so now let's look into the home. What is home? What will we have there? So go to, if you click on the home, here you will find your personal home page. We will call it as a home page, which includes alerts, announcements. You see that here on the screen, your activity feed, you recently visited workspaces. You see my recently visited workspaces are my workspace, Prac WS, and links to resources for your team if applicable, if teams are there. At this moment we will create one team, and in addition to that you will have a product updates. You see, join the VS Code waitlist, two-factor authentication if you want to set up for your, you can set up or webinar. So anyway, product updates and activity feed, you see that here, activity feed. So I have created a team workspace. Okay, whatever I have done all will be fed here. So, and in addition to that, let me scroll down. You'll have a explore popular APIs data. So Postman API, we can fork that collection. Then we have a lot. Twitter API, GitLab API, Notion API. A lot of API collections are there. This is new collection. Okay, a lot of API collections are given here. That's fine. So that's what our home page consists of. Then after the home page, we will look into the workspaces. This is workspace. So this workspaces, search for workspaces, view your recently visited workspaces. So from here basically we can create a new workspace, saying see create workspace, or you can just type the workspace. If you have a lot of workspaces, you have to type the name and you will able to get that. So if you want to create a new workspace, you just click here and you can create a new workspace. And what is the workspace? I will tell you. Just for this moment, at this moment, you just focus on UI and keep a note on the terminology of Postman and the words that we are using here, the terms that we are using here. So, and after the workspaces, we have API network. Explore the public API network and access your team's private API network here. And we have explore. So it's explore the world of APIs. So here you can browse public APIs, teams. You see that public popular on Postman, and teams. You see that browse teams, browse workspaces, browse APIs, browse collections. There are hell number of collections. You can just browse through all the collections, or teams are working. See, message bird API. You can click on, you can fork on this. You can fork. It's like you do, if you know the GitHub, we do the GitHub repository fork, and similarly we can do the API collection fork. Okay, then we have APIs only. This is collection, and we have direct APIs. Even APIs can also be fetched and can also be used by you. So if you want to watch, you can watch it. Import, we'll go through it once the time comes. For now, see, if you want to create a public workspace, you can create from here also. And if you want to join some existing workspaces, the public workspaces, you see that Twilio API. There are a lot of APIs, and those are the workspaces. Okay, and here we have teams. 2.2 million teams are there. Okay, that's huge. That's fine. Okay, that's all about the explore. So then we have search button here on the screen top. So search all workspaces, collections, APIs, and teams in Postman. So that's what the search button is for. Then here you will also have basically, if you are admin role, if you have a team and if you are admin role, you would have had one more icon, that's an invite icon. Of course we do not have. Okay, but here I have a settings icon. Settings icon is for settings, access the Postman settings and other Postman resources. See, these are the Postman settings. Release notes, learning center, scratchpad, we are going to use that. And privacy policy, terms, everything. This is the setting information. Then after that we have notification. Notifications, it view recent activity from your team and get notifications about Postman updates, and see pull requests, comment activity, and other important information. If you see a recent notification that I have received is Rahul has invited you to join Blue Desert 56527 team. So I will join this team now. I'll click and I will join that team. Okay, for now, let's get into the Postman again. Okay, so continued using Postman with the chat GP, Charan API. Of course. So Team Blue Desert is excited to work with you. Yes, that's fine. Even I am too. Even I too. That's okay. By the time I joins, yeah, it's done. I think joining is done. So, but let me get here. Let me continue. So that's done. Then we have an avatar. This is my avatar. So here we can view our profile, access our account. You see that my profile, and view my profile. I can access my account and notification settings and active sessions for our account and sign out for account. And if I want to attach one more account, I can switch to this account. So I can use 3 to 4 accounts. Then the final one is plans. It's financial one. It's not that important. If you are basically, if you want to upgrade, if you want to use Teams, then you need to have a Teams plan. Then you have to go for the from free plan to upgrade plan. So here you will find the billing dashboard and usage, storage usage, mock usage, everything will get it. You see that billing, billing resource usage, manage public elements, etc. That's it. And if you go into the search Postman, so to search in Postman, select search Postman in the header, then enter your search terms. You can also use we can use shortcut to do that. So that's how we can use Postman, search Postman. So then let's get into our workspace now. I'll go into some prac WS workspace. Okay, and so what does it consist of? It consists of six main items. The first one that you see on top, as we have discussed earlier, this is our header. And after that, you see we have subheader. What is that? We'll see later. But here you could see the sidebar or side menu bar. Sidebar or side menu bar, which is collapsible. You see that? Extended, collapsed. Extended, collapsed. So it's basically collapsible. So I'll put it in extended mode. Then after that, we have a workbench. From here to this part is called a workbench. This part is called workbench because that's where we do our activities. Sending a request to fetch the data, or posting the data into API, or testing the API, everything we'll do at this workbench. So that's why we call it as a workbench. Then after that, we have a footer here. Exactly, come down here. You should be able to see the footer. A footer consists of a hide sidebar. Then it's syncing our data whether you're online or offline. Then console, if you click on here, you'll get a console. And let me collapse it one more time. Yeah. Then after that, cookies, capture requests, and runner. Directly you can click here and you'll get the runner. What is a runner? That we will see later, but for now it's fine. Okay, then we have trash. Then we have trash. Then two pane view is also available here. Let me click on here. So this is two pane view or single pane view, whichever you want, you can go for that. Then bootcamp, this is for learning. That's what our sidebar. Now we will look into the sidebar. This is the right sidebar. Let me click here. Now let's look into the sidebar. The postman, this part exactly. The Postman sidebar provides access to the fundamental elements of Postman. What are those? The collections. It's very, very important. Then we have APIs. Then we have environments. Then we have mock servers. Then we have monitors and flows and history. So by and large, everything we are going to practically demonstrate each and every item that is presented in the sidebar. So then we have a workspace. If you, this part, this window, specifically this window we are talking about, here you can create your new workspace. If you just click on new, it's gonna create new item. Basically new item, it's gonna create a new item inside your workspace. Either these are the building blocks, either HTTP request or WebSocket request or gRPC request or GraphQL request or collection or environment or workspace. Even you can create a workspace from here. That's what I was telling initially. Okay. Then advanced, if you want to create API documentation or mock server or monitor also we are going to do, and API also we are going to do. So most of the things we are going to cover in our practical demonstration. So that's why you don't need to worry at all. So let me close this now. And if you want to import, you can import from here by clicking here. So, okay. So to see task options that are available for elements of the sidebar, select the element's name. Let me click on this element name, and then more options. To get the more options about this element or item, you have to click on three dot or icon. If you click on this icon, you'll get more options. And for example, APIs, it's not there. Environment, mock server, monitors, and flows. Okay, collections. At this moment, we have only open trash, and here you can create a new collection. So the task option will vary depending on type of element you have selected. Okay. So for collections, folders and requests inside a collection. For example, let me select one collection. Now if you see, this collection will consist of lot of settings. You see huge amount of settings are there. So share, move, run collection, edit, add a request, add folder, monitor collection, mock collection, create a fork, view change log, view documentation, rename, a lot of information. This is what the settings, the three dot icon. So for collections, we have folders and requests inside a collection, and requests in history. You can select more than one element at a time. So press and hold control, then select the desired element at a time. So that's how you can select multiple items, or if you want to select all together, just say shift and select one, and I'll say select other one. So all elements has been selected. Shift plus select from one item to another item. The items which are in between will all be selected. So that's the another way of selecting the number of items. So then we have a history icon here. So let me click here. I'll get the complete history with the dates. To access the requests you have made, select history in the sidebar. When you are signed into the Postman, your history syncs across your devices. So select a request to open it again in a new tab. To select more than one request, again you have to use Control plus Shift. You have done so many requests so far. So if you want to delete, so we can delete. Your history also includes collection runs. This remains as a summarized version of the run and aren't logged as a single request. You should see here a plus symbol. Select the add icon to save the request to a collection, and select the delete icon to remove the request from your history, and select the more actions. This is a more actions icon to access the other types of actions, including monitor requests, documenting the requests, and mock requests, like mock servers requests. Okay, so that's all about our history. Then history, not our history, it's the history of Postman's your activity. So then to clear your history, just say clear all, just clear all, that's it. Save responses, you put it here, or clear all, it will be cleared off completely. So saving responses in history, this is what. So to save request responses in your history, select and more actions icon. So this icon, and after that, next to the history search bar, then we have to turn on the save responses. Okay. So now let's look into the work bench, and this is our workbench. Let me put some request, old request. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so now this is our workbench. So whether you are working with a collection, an API, or another element type, the Postman workbench is where you do the majority of your work. So tabs enable you to organize your work. So you can just click on a plus symbol to create a new tab uh, on workbench, or you can give the control plus T, control T, control T to create a new tab. So then if you want to save or discard changes, here you can use that. You see that save request to a collection. So to save the changes, we have to click on this, and to close the tab, to close this tab, you see that the cross mark. select this close icon, then select don't save. If there is something, then select this and don't save. Okay, if you just click on this cross icon, it will close that tab. These are called tabs. You see that each one is called tab. So this is overview tab, and after that I have this tab, then tab 2, tab 3 are not named, tab 4 is also not named. So next, renaming and linking elements. So to rename the element, hover over the element's name in the workbench to display the edit icon. So this is where first let me let me name it first. Let me close this and open the fresh one, new one. Let me write a name. Here you can save as, and you can save specifically this tab to any collection. So I have few collections here, so into this any collection I can save this specific tab. Okay, then here you can click on the tab. So you can click on the tab, and on tab option you will find out if you want to say new request. You click on the new request, so another tab will be opened. And if you click on that also, if you want to duplicate it, you can duplicate it. If you want to close it, close tab, and force close all tabs also available. Then here we have a sidebar. You see that this is our sidebar. Here you will get some code snippet and a few more information, initial values and all. This is our another, this is called right sidebar. It's a right side bar. So then we will look into managing tabs. So that's what you can basically see, close all tabs, and here you will just click on this options. You see that view more actions. You can have many tabs open at the same time. To rearrange your open tabs, select and drag them in the desired order. So I'll make this new untitled request one at the beginning. You see that? That's how it works. And to manage your open tabs or to access recently closed tabs, select the more actions icon to open a menu with action options. So in this action option, you can see recently closed tabs and duplicated selected tabs, then close selected tab, and more. You see, you could see the all options that are available here. You just explore based on your need. I'm just giving the source, I'm just giving the initial information that is required, and remaining kindly explore more so that we can have more better understanding about the same. So then we have a right side bar here. So in this right side bar, you can see the right side bar gives you access to more tools, including documentation, comments, code snippets. You see that the code snippets here, C, capital U, capital R, capital R, L, the C URL, and dart HTTP, HTTP Java. So any type of Node.js, Node Axios, PHP. So we'll get Python HTTP dot client. You see that? You get the code snippet, a sample code snippets. So, and request information based on which kind of Postman element you like, element you select. So let me click here. You see that various code snippets you will get it. Then let me, this is code, and here if I click on this setting icon, so then set indentation count. Basically we can customize our code snippet writing. So request timeout and trim request body fields, that's what the settings for this. Okay, then here you can create environments, and let me click on this environment quick look. So that's what the information that we get from this sidebar. And if you come down more, so here you'll see that environment, basically environment selector and this is environment selector and this is environment quick look. The environment selector enables you to choose which environment to use in your work. Select an environment from the menu to set it as the active environment, which gives you access to the variables in that environment. So why environment is required? So environment will be defined with certain environment variables. So those environment variables can be used effectively, efficiently in our API calls. So that's the reason environment is also very important in dealing with complex API connections. Then finally we have a footer. We have seen most of this. We will look into the footer now. So the footer on the bottom of Postman enables you to find and replace text. Open the console. You see that? Find and replace the text. Open the console, and I'll click on this and find and replace. You see that? Then online. Then we'll capture the requests. Here you see capture request. So for that you need to start a proxy session. Then and cookies and bootcamp and access several other tools. Okay, so few more things. So now the first icon that we have here is hide sidebar. Close or reopen the sidebar. Then we have sync status. That's an online one. See if you are connected to the Postman services and your data is syncing or not. At this moment it's in sync. You see all data in this workspace is backed up on our servers. It's in sync. Then we have find and replace. So after that we have console. This console basically is useful for inspect and debug our Postman requests. So in addition to that, we can if git branch is there, so we can have a git branch icon, and after that we have cookies. You see that cookies is view, manage and sync cookies. Then capture requests, start a Postman proxy or interceptor session, bootcamp access in app classroom that teaches you how to use Postman from the basics to advanced topics. And the most important one is a runner. A runner, open the collection runner and trash, recover or permanently delete any deleted collection. So basically the collections which you have deleted in the workbench will it be in the in this area will be stored in trash, and if you remove that in trash also, it will be completely permanently deleted. So then we have two pane views, toggle between a single pane view and a two pane view. And finally you have a help section. So help section will take you to the release notes, documentation and security and more information, and here you'll find out your keyboard shortcuts. Basically you can get it from settings directly, but still keyboard shortcuts to open a tab, close a tab, switch to last tab, run it, a request URL, save request, and lot of shortcuts. So it's enough. We have. I hope you got a clear cut understanding of UI of of Postman and the terminology, various terminology and the items which are there in UI. And now it's time to put this everything into action.